The 5-day-long 2008 war between Russia and Georgia created controversy, with both sides blaming each other for starting the war, although the Russian authorities have claimed that it was Georgia that started the war. Many reports and researchers concluded that the conflict started much earlier than the Georgian military operation began on the 7th of August at 23:35 and Russia was responsible. The relations between Georgia and Russia deteriorated since Vladimir Putin's rise to power in 1999–2000. South Ossetian separatists began attacking the Georgian villages in early August 2008, in order to force Georgia to respond militarily, thus giving a pretext for pre-planned Russian invasion. Russia was preparing to go to war with Georgia for years before 2008 and intended to achieve geopolitical goals. Some researchers paid attention to the military exercise Kavkaz 2008, which concluded in early August. During this exercise, a written notice entitled "Ssolbergj, Know Your Probable Enemy" was circulated among the Russian participants. Russian journalists began arriving in Skin Valley on the 2nd of August to cover a war that had not yet begun. Some Russian regular troops entered South Ossetia before the Georgian military operation against Skin Valley began on the 7th of August. A European Union investigation claimed that open hostilities began with a large-scale Georgian military operation against Skin Valley on the 7th of August, but noted that a violent conflict had already been going on before in South Ossetia, and Georgian offensive was a not proportionate response to pre-war South Ossetian attacks. The Commission could not confirm the claimed attack on Russian peacekeepers. The Commission further stated that Russian citizenship, conferred to the vast part of Abkhaz and Ossetians, cannot be considered legally binding, and as a result, the defensive Russian citizens living abroad should not have been used as a reason for starting military action by Russia. The report stated that further Russian advance into Georgia proper was unjustified. The report found that all parties involved in the conflict had violated international law. However, the report was heavily criticized for some of its conclusions. Combatants' positions. Georgia first said that its military offensive responded to Ossetian shelling of Georgian villages, and it intended to restore constitutional order in South Ossetia. Georgia also said it aimed to counter a Russian invasion. During a United Nations Security Council meeting on the 8th of August, Georgia said that the first Russian troops entered South Ossetia at 5:30 a.m. on the 8th of August. In a decree ordering the general mobilization published on the 9th of August, Saakashvili noted that the Russian troops had advanced through the rocky tunnel on the 8th of August. The Georgian government continued to maintain its position, saying that around 11:30 p.m. on the 7th of August intelligence information was received that 150 Russian army vehicles had entered Georgian territory through the rocky tunnel. In an interview with Der Spiegel, Saakashvili said that he wanted to stop the Russian troops before they could reach Georgian villages. Quote, "When our tanks moved toward Skin Valley, the Russians bombed the city. They were the ones, not us, who reduced Skin Valley to rubble." Georgia released intercepted telephone calls purporting to show that part of a Russian armored regiment crossed into South Ossetia nearly a full day before Georgia's attack on the capital, Skin Valley. Late on August 7, Russia says it acted to defend Russian citizens in South Ossetia and its own peacekeepers stationed there. The Russian peacekeepers peacekeepers in South Ossetia allegedly suffered casualties during the war. According to a senior Russian official, the 1st Russian combat unit was ordered to move through the rocky tunnel at around dawn of the 8th of August, defending Russia's decision to launch attack in uncontested Georgia. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has said that Russia had no choice but to target the military infrastructure sustaining the Georgian offensive. Initially, Russia went as far as accusing Georgia of committing genocide against Ossetians. It was claimed that Georgia codenamed its attack Operation Clearfield. Russia also claimed that Georgia was planning to launch a 2-day Operation Rock to retake Abkhazia. Russia codenamed its military action Operation to force Georgia to peace. According to political scientists Svante Cornell, Moscow spent millions in a public relations campaign to convince the world that Georgia, not Russia, began the war. 3 years after the August War, Russian President Dmitry Medvedev admitted NATO would have been expanded to admit ex-Soviet republics if Russia had not invaded Georgia in 2008 to defend a rebel region. If U. had fought it back in 2008, the geopolitical situation would be different now, Medvedev said in a speech to soldiers at a Vladikavkaz base. In August 2012, Vladimir Putin said that Russia had drawn up a plan to counter a Georgian attack long before the August 2008 conflict in the Caucasus. He said the plan was developed by the Russian General Staff in late 2006, early 2007, and it was negotiated with Putin, who was serving his second presidential term in that period. According to Putin, South Ossetian militia were trained under this plan. However, he refused to reveal if he insisted on the use of force when the war began. South Ossetia. The South Ossetian government in Skin Valley called for Russian help to prevent genocide when the Georgian bombardment began, saying that Skin Valley was under the most frightful fire. Abkhazia. When Abkhazia launched a military operation to gain the Kidori Gorge, President Sergei Bagapsh said, "Maybe in order to achieve our goals we will have to violate certain parts of the Moscow Agreement of May 14, 1994 on a ceasefire, but we were not the first to violate them." Arrival of the Russian army in South Ossetia. Life Goes On. Life Goes On is an article published in the 3rd of September 2008 issue of the Russian Ministry of Defense's official newspaper, Krasnaya Zvezda. It was also posted on the newspaper's website. The article was based on the interview of an officer who had taken part in the military operation in South Ossetia in August 2008. After the initial publication, it was picked up by blogs and internet news agencies, as it contradicted the official timeline of Russian incursion into South Ossetia. However, the article was later corrected. Soon, the article was pulled from the newspaper's website, the disappearance having been commented upon by the mainstream media, including the New York Times. The article details the war experience of Russian captain of the 135th Regiment named Denis Sidrosty. He said that his unit had been ordered to cease a training exercise and move to Skin Valley on August 7, and he was there when the hostilities broke out. Sidrosty said that he witnessed the Georgian attack on Skin Valley around midnight. Other reports by Russian media on the 4th of August 2008. RU reported that after the end of the Kavkaz 2008 exercises, the paratroopers from PSKV remained to occupy the key positions on the Rocky and Mamison passes on the border. Several battalions of 58th Army were moved close to the border. The South Ossetian sources told the newspaper that the deployment of troops began on the night of 2 to 3 August 2008. RU reported, the deployment of the Russian military hardware near the Rocky Tunnel will allow as soon as possible to move troops to help the peacemaking forces. On the 6th of August 2008, Oz Radio reported that the volunteers were also arriving in Skin Valley from Moscow. On the 8th of August 2008, Nezavisama Gazeta published an article by a journalist who had spent previous 3 days in Chechnya. She saw the base of the battalion, Vostok, in good armies somewhere in the time frame. Chechen soldiers were preparing to go to South Ossetia. It was claimed that they were going to support the peacekeeping mission. At 3:30 a.m. they began departing, with military official reminding them not to forget the passports and military IDs. However, the article does not mention that there was any war in South Ossetia. On the 12th of August 2008, Komsomolskaya Pravda reported that in South Ossetia several soldiers were wounded and one was killed, who were from Tatarstan. 5 days before he was killed in South Ossetia, Evgeny Parfenov warned his parents not to call him because it would be hard to reach him by phone. Lieutenant Alexander Popov was participating in the exercises on the height near Skin Valley when his group was requested by the intelligence to reinforce them. According to Popov's mother, Popov told her he could see how the Georgians fired on Skin Valley 1 week before the war. The mother of Eldar Lotfelin, a 23-year-old contract soldier, said that she was able to call her son for the last time at around 10 p.m. MSK on the 7th of August 2008. Eldar Lotfelin told journalists that the Georgian tanks fired on his barracks on the 8th of August. On the 13th of August, Izvestia reported that the unit was participating in the exercises in the mountains of South Ossetia. On the 12th of August 2008, Morstovsky Komsomolets reported that one Russian regular army officer had said on the 9th of August that he was preparing for the exercises in South Ossetia, but understood only at the last minute that he was going to war. On the 12th of August 2008, APN reported that the residents of North Ossetia Alania were able to see the movement of a large number of troops towards the Rocky Tunnel beginning 6 p.m. on the 7th of August. However, they couldn't believe that Russia was involved in the war until the morning of the 8th of August. In August 2008, RU reported that 22-year-old contract soldier died on the first day of the bloody aggression in the Georgian South Ossetian conflict zone, when a barrage of fire hit the peaceful town. The soldier's mother said that his son called her on the 7th of August, but she did not know that he was in South Ossetia until his death. On the 15th of August 2008, Permsky Novosti reported that a Russian soldier had called home on the 10th of August and told his mother, "We have this since the 7th of August, all of our 58th Army." On the 15th of August 2008, Vyatsky Krai reported that the sister of soldier Vitaly said that her brother called on the 6th of August and he was going to move later. On the 7th of August, Vitaly told his sister that "we are going to the mountains." On the 15th of August 2008, Komsomolskaya Pravda reported that 19-year-old Onar Aliev from the 19th Motor Rifle Division died in South Ossetia on the night of the 8th of August during the shelling of Skin Valley. His mother said her son called for the last time on the 4th of August and told her that he would participate in the true exercises somewhere near Abkhazia. On the 15th of August 2008, Trud made a report about Junior Sergeant Alexander Sviridov, who was killed in South Ossetia. He called his mother on the 2nd of August and said, "There won't be any holiday. There are intensified preparations. We frequently have parachute jumps. Apparently we will be deployed to somewhere. On the 17th of August 2008, Komsomolskaya Pravda reported that Alexander Plotnikov, the soldier from 693rd Regiment, said that he knew in early August that there would be war when 2 companies of his regiment were sent to the mountains near Skin Valley. In August 2008, Life.ru reported that 29-year Alexei Tarasov, who was killed in action in South Ossetia, was buried in his village. His military friend was quoted as saying that the unit was allegedly deployed to South Ossetia for the exercises, but suddenly the war broke out. On the 26th of August 2008, Drug.Lya Druga reported that one soldier's mother couldn't call her son for 3 days before the 8th of August because his phone was blocked. At 3 a.m. on the 8th of August, her son was sent to Skin Valley, where he was wounded. On the 27th of August 2008, Vecherny Saransk reported that a nearby Kiniev contract soldier of 135th Regiment stopped to answer the phone calls on the 7th of August and his parents were worried. He later acknowledged he did so not to frighten his family. On the 28th of August 2008, Gazeta Yuga published a report about Zalam Gegrev, a wounded soldier from 1st Company of the Peacemaking Battalion, who fought in South Ossetia. Gegrev's mother said that her son had told her that he was going to Skin Valley before the war started. She also said that he had been to South Ossetia previously and when he was there, his phone did not work. Then Zalam spoke to journalists. We had been there to participate in military exercises for a month in those areas before this. They ended, however we were not withdrawn. Then the order came to move to Skin Valley. On the 8th of August we were near the town and waited for further instructions. I didn't even think that I could see such thing. On the 1st of September 2008, journalist of Nezavisamalia Gazeta wrote, as early as the 6th of August I saw our army in full combat readiness near the Georgian border. On the 2nd of September 2008, it was reported that several soldiers' mothers had sent letter to Commissioner for Human Rights in Perm Krai. One mother wrote that on the 3rd of August his son said his unit might be deployed to the border. Another mother said that his son told her on the 9th of August that his unit was sent to South Ossetia on the evening of the 7th of August. On the 11th of September 2008, Yulia Latinina read that journalists who were sent in advance to cover the war reported on the 6th of August 2008 that they have seen 58th Army in full combat readiness on the other side of the Rocky Tunnel. On the 15th of September 2008, Novaya Gazeta reported that the South Ossetian soldier had told journalists that after the end of Kavkaz 2008 exercises 80 tanks remained in South Ossetia. On the 15th of September 2008, RIA Novosti reported that Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said, "There were excesses by all parties, but this was a war, and when you see on night that you are being fired upon and you're on the move, while you're advancing to help Skin Valley, then your response cannot be precisely accurate and cannot avoid hurting anyone." On the 21st of September 2008, ROSSIYA1 TV reported that the wife of Lieutenant Sergei Shevelo, intelligence officer of the Peacemaking Battalion who died in South Ossetia, said that her husband called her every day and they talked casually. However, on the 1st of August he sent her a text message saying everything is normal. Watch TV. That's all. In October 2008, Duel reported that soldier Maxim Pasko, who died near Gori on the 12th of August, sent several SMSes. One SMS was sent on the 3rd of August 2008 and said, "Don't worry too much, the Georgian mercenaries are battering Skin Valley. We were given orders to go there. Another SMS sent on the 5th of August 2008 said, "Yesterday, our artillerists were messing with Georgia. 22 were killed and 150 injured." In January 2009, Krasnaya Zvezda published an interview with the priest, Father Mikhail, who said, "I attended military exercise KAVKAZ-2008 in South Ossetia, where our paratroopers worked out the skills of combat in the mountains. Unfortunately, those skills became useful too soon." In May 2009, Russo-Georgian Gazeta reported that hero of Russia Denis Vechanov, who died in South Ossetia, left the base of the motor rifle division in Vladikavkaz for Skin Valley on the early morning of the 7th of August 2008. In June 2009, Russian General Vyacheslav Borisov told Echo of Moscow in an interview, "You know, we even regularly hold exercises in those areas, and our troops had full practice by holding exercises 1 week before right there in the same place. And we had only concluded and went, therefore, marching towards Skin Valley. We performed much better than those units under central command and the units of the district that were dusted off. Did you know?" In July 2009, Russian journalist Ella Polyakova read that some Russian soldiers had told her that they arrived in South Ossetia on the 4th of August 2008, while the records claimed that they were stationed in North Ossetia. In July 2009, Russian blogger published an interview with soldier Maxim Believ, who said, "Our combined battalion of peacekeepers was stationed in North Ossetia. We should have replaced in August another battalion of the peacekeeping mission, located in Skin Valley. We went to South Ossetia on the night of August 7th. Around noon of the 7th of August, the column was near Skin Valley on the bypass road." In January 2010, Russian military portal Zayotchestvo.ru published the recollections of several Russian soldiers. Alexander Slanov, the head of the North Ossetian regional branch of Union of Paratroopers, the NGO of veterans of the airborne forces and special forces, said, "In the night of 4 to 5 August, I and 5 other paratroopers left for Skin Valley. We arrived at 5 a.m. Tanker Vladimir said, "We arrived in Katagorovo in the morning of the 7th of August. Our task was to destroy the Georgian fortified district that was located on the height near Katagorovo." In 2012, Anatoly Krylyov, the commander of the 58th Army, said in an interview that, "For me, the war began in my workplace." Quote, he said that the decision to reinforce the Russian peacekeeping force was made on the 5th of August 2008. Krylyov said that Marat Kulipmatov, commander of the combined peacekeeping forces, called him on the night of 7 to 8 August and said that General Mamuk Urashvili had warned him that Georgia was going to launch a large-scale military operation. Reports by the Western media. On the 18th of August 2008, Le Figaro published the report by a journalist who was told by a young Russian soldier at some checkpoint in Georgia that he came from Shali, Chechen Republic, and that they left on the 5th of August 2008. Georgian military interviews. Georgian soldiers told Eurasianet that they thought their initial mission in South Ossetia was to stop attacks on Georgian villages. One senior lieutenant from 4th Brigade said, "Our goal was to put an end to fighting in the area and take control. Nobody in the army expected a war with Russia." One unnamed Georgian Defense Ministry source said, "The main thing is that the scope of the threat was underestimated, while our own combat capabilities were overestimated." Georgian military sources said that an attack had earlier been expected from Abkhazia, but not from South Ossetia. The 4th Brigade senior lieutenant said that they were preparing for something in May when Georgia was denied NATO membership, but there were no preparations made for a military operation in South Ossetia in August. Many were on vacation and we were preparing to go Iraq in the fall. On the 7th of August 2008, the 4th Brigade loaded tanks and missile launches on a train bound for the Georgian city of Gori. On the night of 7 to 8 August, the 4th Brigade launched a three-pronged offensive on South Ossetian positions in Skin Valley and into Ossetian villages, Sinauri and Katagorovo. One of the assaults intended to divert South Ossetian militia forces away from the main objective. After Skin Valley was nearly encircled, Georgian troops then tried to establish control over a key road to the north, one mid-ranking commander said. The road was being defended by South Ossetian garrison near the village of Tibeti. As Georgian soldiers were engaged with the South Ossetian garrison, the first Russian tanks appeared. The commander said, "We destroyed one tank after another, but they kept coming," the anonymous commander said. Phone intercepts. In September 2008, Georgia released recordings of intercepted phone calls to prove that the Russian military moved into South Ossetia before the Georgian military operation began. The New York Times made its own translation from the original Ossetian language into Russian and then into English. Senior American officials reviewed the recordings and considered them as credible. The calls were made by Ossetian border guards on a Georgian cellular network. According to a call intercepted at 3:52 a.m. on the 7th of August, a supervisor at the South Ossetian border guard headquarters asked a guard at the tunnel with the surname Gassiev, "Listen, has the armor arrived or what?" The guard replied, "The armor and people." Asked if they had gone through, he replied, "Yes, 20 minutes ago, when I called you, they had already arrived." At 3:41 a.m., Gassiev told the supervisor in the first call that a Russian colonel had asked to inspect military vehicles that crowded the tunnel. Gassiev said the commander, a colonel, approached and said, "The guys with you should check the vehicles." "Is that okay?" Asked about the identity of the colonel, Gassiev answered, "I don't know. The superior, the one in charge there. The BMPs and other vehicles were sent here and they've crowded there. The guys are also standing around, and he said that we should inspect the vehicles. I don't know," and he went out. Gassiev informed the supervisor at 3:52 a.m. that armored vehicles had left the tunnel. They were commanded by Colonel Kazakhenko. Russia did not dispute veracity of the calls. According to Russian press reports after the war, Colonel Andrei Kazakhenko, who was mentioned in the recording, served in the 135th Motorized Rifle Regiment. Russian Defense Ministry spokesman General Uvarov claimed that on the 7th of August Russian peacekeeping contingent in South Ossetia was supplied with fuel and products. Georgia disputed this Russian explanation, arguing that rotations of the Russian peacekeeping battalion could be conducted only in daylight and after not less than a month of advance notification according to a mutual agreement in 2004.